Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Newsroom. I'm your host Omar Khalid. Today is the 19th of May 2025 and these are the stories that we will try to highlight during the course of the show. We'll begin with the dossier that has been prepared by Pakistan on the Operation Bunyaan-e-Marsoos. This details all that has happened since the 22nd of last month and all the misinformation, the allegations, the false allegations that ensued following the false flag operation in Pahalgam, and of course how Pakistan responded eventually, and all of that is detailed in with precise facts and figures in this dossier. This is very important because in the current scenario there is going to be a whole committee of important people who are going to be sent to different countries across the world under the leadership of Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Sahab, and these people are going to apprise the important governments across the globe of what India has been up to and how and why Pakistan responded as far as the Indian machinations are concerned. We will also be highlighting the different interviews that have been given by the DGISPR to Anatolu news agency as well as to Arab News, and we'll be detailing the latest that comes in the wake of Operation Bunyaan-e-Marsoos and all that has followed after the Operation Bunyaan-e-Marsoos. Also the fact that our Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar Sahab is currently in China. He's arrived in Beijing and is going to meet with Wang Yi and are going to discuss important details. But not only that, the also important factor here is the Trilateral summit that is going to happen between Afghanistan, Pakistan and China. What are going to be the implications under the current geopolitical and geostrategic scenario is what we will discuss also during the course of our show. We've been joined by many important and interesting guests. Let me introduce them to you one by one. In the studios, we have two guests with us. Major General Zahid Mahmood Sahab is a defense analyst. Sir, thank you very much to have joined us. Also, Dr. Sundas Mustaqim, who is our analyst and joins us in the studio, I think for the very first time. Thank you very much, Dr. Sundas, to have joined us. We've also been joined by Ambassador Asif Durrani Sahab, who is a former ambassador and former special envoy on Afghanistan. Asif Durrani Sahab, a very, very long time since we last talked. It's so good to see you after a very long hiatus, and welcome to my show. We'll also be joined by Dr. Farhan Naz, who is a foreign affairs expert during the course of our show. We will continue, but we have to go to a short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back, and of course we will begin our show. Let's begin with the dossier on Bunyaan-e-Marsoos, the Operation Bunyaan-e-Marsoos that has been released by Pakistan. It contains all the important details that we have been highlighting during the course of all our shows and special transmissions that BTV World has done. I have done since the 22nd of last month, and we have detailed every single aspect of that. The good thing is that this dossier includes every single detail of what happened since the 22nd of April and highlights the important factors with facts, figures and numbers as well. It is very important in the whole context of a committee that has now been formed by the Prime Minister, which will be headed by Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Sahab, to send to different countries across the world. Bunyaan-e-Marsoos, General Sahab, let's come to you. The dossier claims that India, not claims, but certifies that India orchestrated the Pahalgam false flag operation as a pretext for aggression against Pakistan. There are many key pieces of evidences that have been presented in this dossier to support this claim. How important is the credibility of all of these findings for an international audience, for all those who will be reading through it and making their assumptions and inferences from it?
Omar, thank you very much for the invite. I think in this time, in this Pahalgam context, the world is very clear. I mean, things which the way they started this escalation and the casus belli which they created, it was designed, and the implementation of this plan was in such a bizarre way that whole world is laughing on them. Otherwise they would not have been scrambling all these envoys to all parts of the world. It means that they have failed to convince the world. They were comfortable, they were very happy that the whole world is supporting them, and they have the tacit approvals. And in some cases it was charade. You know, in Pakistan we have a bad habit of, going into the conspiracy theories and trying to, draw our own conclusions by considering the past. We need to understand as a Pakistani that the foreign policy or the big powers, they pursue their interest of that time. So they don't keep themselves attached with the past or the historical in the historical manner that we have had good relations in 50 years back or 30 years back. No, it's not happening now. So it's time to time. There are no more alliances who are, there are coalitions, coalitions of willing, sometimes coalition of interest. So they keep changing their interest, and probably Modi misread the international sport and then the way and the international community was also expecting that they will just run over Pakistan, and Pakistan will bend on its knees and will be.
Everyone underestimated Pakistan.
Everyone underestimated. Even within Pakistan, there were certain people, there were certain groups who were not knowing the true potentials of Pakistan. But what Pakistan has done, Pakistan has shown the defiance. Pakistan has shown their capabilities of the defense for their country, for their sovereignty. Pakistan has shown their potential across all the spectrum and in all domains. This was not expected from Pakistan, and finally the unbounded resolve of the nation which was shown. So that really changed the perception. So the way they started off with this Pahalgam, like the incident of that FIR after 10 minutes, the help and the rescue parties are coming after 1.5 hours, but the FIR is being registered within the 10 minutes. Then they wanted to register the FIR with the target killings. They already identified the Hindus, and this was target killings of the Hindus, but in the FIR they just wrote that this was a discriminatory fire. So it started from there. Then whatever they were thinking about the removal of the security from that area, and then the guards were extremely lowered. Then they were the military was not into it. The militaries, they are very spirited people. They fight for their country, but they are happy to fight for the political objectives of the nation, of the country, of their country. But they are not willing to fight for the political objectives of some individuals or a political party, which was the Hindutva or RSS policies. So that's why the two military 3-star generals and one including three 3-star generals, including one flag officer, the deputy chief of air staff, they were sacked. It means that they were not solely into this operation. So it started off with a lot of confusion, and the world knows it. But whatever Pakistan is taking with them to show the people, this is 21st century, Omar. Everybody understands this conflict was between two nuclear states.
And you can't hide facts anymore.
Hide. These are not Tutsis or Hutus of Congo or Rwanda that they are fighting amongst each other. This is two nuclear countries are fighting, and this is a very, very serious business. Modi has taken this region into a deep hole, and I think this is not less than a hellfire.
All right. This is not less than a hellfire. Ambassador Asif Durrani said Pakistan proposes joint investigation under a neutral third party, but India has not responded to, or more or less rejected, let's put it that way. What could have been, we all know, but what could have been behind India's refusal? How does this impact the credibility of the Indian narrative as well about the Pahalgam false flag operation?
Thank you, Khalid. I think transparency is the buzzword. And Pakistan maintained transparency as far as this unfortunate incident was concerned in Pahalgam. And sorry, not Pahalgam, Pahalgam, yes. So it was, you can say, Pakistan's finest moment when you said that let's have neutral inquiry, neutral investigations. And in fact, Pakistan's offer won the day, and internationally it was very well noticed, and which is why India's narrative could not sell, and the manner they indulged in rhetoric and the media went berserk, but no one was ready to accept it. Even the very first day when Indian Foreign Secretary held a briefing for important countries, they asked the question that what evidence do you have regarding this incident? And they said we are investigating. And surprisingly, they are still investigating the matter because they have not come to the conclusion. But they were quick to put the blame on Pakistan. And the rest is history. We all know how it transpired and how it, in fact, exposed India. And it is now the question is being asked even inside India that it was Prime Minister Modi who, in order to boost the sagging popularity, in he wanted to have this kind of a drama, and which he enacted. So now it is giving credence to these speculations, and opposition is also now demanding a fair inquiry. One, and secondly, they want a full debate in the parliament, to which the Indian government is reluctant. However, they have now, and now since unnerved because of the falsehood they had spread on about this issue, they have now formed 7 teams and delegations who would be going to various directions to explain India's point of view. But the issue is that the falsehood which India spread, how the Indian delegations are going to defend that and justify their action. They cannot blame Pakistan for initiating this war. I would call it war because, for all practical purposes, the way the exchanges took place were war. And then that's why a ceasefire had to be enacted, and which is still holding. And more importantly, United States, which was considered to be the strategic partner, and India was boasted, or India boasted itself as going to be the net security provider for quote unquote Indo-Pacific region and a bulwark against China. In fact, that has been exposed, and that's why there are also commentaries that perhaps President Trump, after looking at the decimal performance of Mr. Modi's government and their armed forces, they may be running second thoughts, which is why I think one reason is that Mr. Trump has called for a mediation and discussion of the Kashmir dispute. So these are the issues which India will have to do a lot of explanation. India cannot defend its actions, what they took on 7th of May. Yes.
All right. Stay online with us, and thank you very much again for having joined us. Dr. Sundas, the dossier, let's come back to the dossier. The dossier highlights the multiple Indian strikes on civilian areas in Pakistan that include Murid-ke, Bahawalpur, Muzaffarabad, resulting in civilian casualties. What legal implications could this have for India under international humanitarian law?
India has already violated so many international laws, and especially when it comes to attacking Pakistan's water reservoir, if India will dare to do ever again, Pakistan will certainly consider as a declaration of war. So India has already committed this crime, not just a mistake, while attacking on Pakistan's water reservoir. So of course it will, India will has to face this legal implications and consequences if this something will happen ever again, and we should consider it as a golden opportunity, because I think this is the rebirth of Pakistan and Pakistan's image at international level and in the international arena, because of the so many reasons. Like, for example, take the example of media, how if we compare the media of both the countries, how Pakistani media behaved as a very responsible, professional and decent media. So when it comes to media, so it's not just the defeat of India on the field or military wise, but actually the politically, and then in the war of narrative, we have actually won the war of narrative, because what international media is revealing against about the Indian not only about the Indian media but about the Indian, the lack of institutional integrity. India certainly lacks this institutional integrity because the media is saying something else, the government is saying something else, their opposition and media was never on one page. But at this very point of time, while considering this legal implications and the political polarization that we have seen in the last few weeks in media in India. So actually it's not just legally but politically, narrative wise, and when it comes to media. So actually India has lost this war, and it's a golden opportunity for Pakistan to tell the world not only about our armed forces, our air force, our media, but actually Pakistan has all the capacity and all the capabilities to fight being a nuclear power, because India mistakenly has thought that we have the only nuclear asset and we are only capable of using this nuclear asset. But no, our manpower, I mean whatever technology we are using, the Russian or the Chinese, but actually the manpower, we come as a resilient nation. So how many domestically problems we had before this tension between India and Pakistan, but when it comes to conflict and wars environment, we always come up appear as a resilient nation. So
as a united nation.
As a united nation. So India is currently lacking this institutional integrity because the 4 pillars of the state are not on one page. But when it comes to Pakistan, we have shown this, we have actually proved that all our armed forces, our administration, our government, our people, our innocent people, the civilians are actually, we all are on one page, and we have thoroughly won this war of narratives.
All right, war of narratives. General Saab, Operation Bunyan Marsoor is described as a decisive retaliatory action under Article 51 of the United Nations Charter. Now, how does this align, in your point of view, being a military man, with Pakistan's long-standing position on self-defense and international legal framework for military responses?
Pakistan, look, they had doubt about Pakistan, you know. So Pakistan is a, Omar, we need to understand that the Pakistan as a nation, Pakistanis as a nation, and Pakistan military as an organization is the military and a nation of peace. We want to see United Nations or all the organizations or all the institutions which can play an important role in conflict resolution. We want to see them succeed. Because of the World War, these institutions are supposed to keep the international system into some order. And there are 2 states which are really challenging this rule-based international order. That is Likud parties, Israel in Middle East, and this Bharatiya Janata Party, RSS mentality in this part of the world. So, and Pakistan has a serious, we have a serious issue, rather a serious conflict. It's not an issue, it's a conflict, that is Kashmir with India. And we want that international community must understand our compulsions, and then the way we respond. But we want to respond within the legal frame of the international system, because we don't want that anybody should label us, because this is a legitimate conflict. Our pursuits are all legitimate. There are United Nations Security Council's resolutions on this conflict. So our right to defend and our right to respond is already emanating from those rules already set, and from those resolutions which are already been presented in the United Security Council, and they are supposed to be implementing those. So we want that these institutions should succeed, and on that pretext I would say that Pakistan used that their this right of self defense, and it was just after the defense, then that retaliation was our right, which we did. And there they went to all parts of the world and they asked their friends to get us the ceasefire, because their military was embarrassed in the first 40 minutes. It's a dream of any military commander to embarrass the opponent's military. So this is the biggest military objective. And with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the resolve which we are talking about of this nation, once the military, they saw that their nation is standing right behind them, they were fearless. I mean, they were not even thinking about the consequences. So they were going all out. And look at the spirit of those pilots who are signing their will before taking off. So this is the kind of a spirit. But this time this military will take them to the cleaners, to be very honest, because we have had enough. We have had Jafar Express in the recent past. We have had APS. This all was coming from India. We should not have any doubt through
And so many in between as well. You are forgetting all
more than 4,000 incidents in only 24 incidents. We have lost more than 3,700 individuals in 1 year. We have lost 2,700 of Pakistanis lost their limbs, in 1 year. So we have had enough. And then their nation was asking their military and their leadership that, look, why are we keeping these nuclears and why are we having such a big military? If every day a clown gets up in our region, he makes fun of our state, and he plays, I mean, he's shedding blood. I mean, their policy of domination and blood, they have brought this model from Israel. Mr. Modi has to understand that models are not applied in the wars, theories are applied. And theories, they need to have a theory, superior theory, which they don't have. So this is a politics, this is internal politics, which is, and whatsoever they will come even if.
And of course, Pakistan's right to respond was in alignment with Article 51 of the
Otherwise, this world, as you know, they would have taken you
to the cleaners, as you said. Yes. All right. Ambassador Saab, I have a barrage of questions to you, so I'm going to ask all of them to you one by one. Our Prime Minister, Ambassador Saab, has tasked a high-level delegation led by Bilawal Bhutto Zardari to counter Indian propaganda globally. What could be the key focus areas for this delegation to effectively challenge the Indian narrative to the recent military escalation and the Pahalgam false flag operation?
The foremost being is India's decision to hold Indus Water Treaty in abeyance. And this is very dangerous development, and our delegation must highlight this issue because that is the life and death for Pakistan. And if India does not mend its ways in reverting the status quo on Indus Water Treaty, then that would be an act of war, as rightly stated by the National Security Committee. So this is number one. Secondly is that, again, we need to reiterate that the kind of flare-ups between India and Pakistan more frequently after some intervals is because of the Kashmir dispute. And India has not been taking serious steps to address this. What they did was, in fact, they reoccupied the Kashmir on 5th August 2019. This has caused more heartburn, this has caused more tensions, not only between the two countries, but also, especially the Kashmiri people. Right now, in fact, to the chagrin of the Indian media and their leaders, I'm sure that when they were trying to interview the Kashmiri people about this Pahalgam incident, the Kashmiris were absolutely non-committal and not forthcoming. They said, people are killed here. So it was great embarrassment for their media also. And secondly, if you look at it, that why Mr. Modi has enacted this drama is that, as I said, first he wanted to boost the sagging morale of his popularity. Second was that they want to be more repressive towards the minorities, especially the Muslims. And for that, in occupied Kashmir, they arrested more than 2,000 Kashmiris on the pretext of investigating the Pahalgam incident. And houses of, over a dozen houses of so-called alleged culprits were also demolished. So this is a repressive exercise India has been pursuing for decades. But with the arrival of Mr. Modi, who himself was a Pracharak in RSS, the plight of the poor Kashmiris has increased manifold. And also the minorities in India, especially the Muslims, they are at the receiving end ever since the Hindutva dispensation has been in power in the country. So, yeah, this is what I want to say. Yeah.
My next question, more or less directly or indirectly, concerns Afghanistan, and you've been a special envoy there. India, let's begin with India, that has put a barrage of implications on Azerbaijan, on Turkey, and there's a lot of call for boycott, and a lot of boycott is happening when it comes to Azerbaijani and Turkey products. On the other hand, there are a lot of overtures that are being made towards Afghanistan by India, and that has been evidently seen in different communications that have been held between the Indian Foreign Ministry and the Afghans. Now, Pakistan, China and Afghanistan are also going to hold high-level trilateral talks in Beijing. Being a very important strategic partner in the region, how should Pakistan, in your point of view, maneuver itself in this trilateral meeting, not only to apprise China of what India has been perpetrating with regards to Turkey, Azerbaijan and Afghanistan, but also to put matters right when it comes to Afghanistan and make them understand the point of view that Pakistan has been trying to make them understand since the last few months. What's your take on that? Can Pakistan use this opportunity to its benefit?
India now, I think they are trying to clutch the straw. They have lost the narrative, and then they wanted to boast that they have the supporters. So they said Israel and Afghanistan are our supporters, but Afghanistan is not. Afghanistan has maintained a neutral stance. Whatever you have seen or read in the media is based on Mr. Jaishankar's tweet, in which he talked about that the Afghan Prime Minister condemned terrorism. So it was not unusual. We also condemned that incident. And then there was some news attributed to Pakistan that India's missiles were heading towards Afghanistan.
All right. Thank you very much to have joined Asif Durrani, former ambassador and former special envoy in Afghanistan. I'll ask you the same question, Dr. Sundas. Pakistan, Indian machinations vis-a-vis Azerbaijan and Turkey boycotting of their products, trade and educational boycott that is in the making, and then the communications that, of course, Asif Durrani Sahab has very ably made us understand was solely from an Indian perspective. Now that all three countries, India, Afghanistan, China and Pakistan are going to meet in Beijing as part of the trilateral summit, how, in your point of view, could Pakistan put its point across so that strategically Pakistan's interests are also safeguarded and at the same time its relations with China are strengthened and so are its relations with Afghanistan?
Thank you. I think India actually provided us this golden opportunity to strengthen the relations of Pak-China relations even more than ever before. Where we are standing currently today, how China supported us not only military-wise, but actually this actually supported us not only in representing our narrative, but in any way. So Indians actually provided us this golden opportunity because of this false flag operation. So they mistakenly thought that Pakistan cannot even fight. So and we are the only nuclear state and we cannot fight. But now the world has seen that not only Pakistan can fight very well, but actually they have good relations with all over the country. Indians thought that they are the only darling in this South Asia region. But now they should come out this fabricated story that India is not the only darling of USA and the Russia and all that stuff. But Pakistan is actually having this strong strategic location like ever before. And not only China, but all the Muslim countries, the Qatar, UAE, and Saudi Arabia, and Azerbaijan, all are supporting Pakistan like anything. So Pakistan geographically, strategically, it's the conventional deterrence, I would say, is Pakistan is a rebirth of Pakistan in any way. So I think it's again the golden opportunity of Pakistan to have the strong relation with all these countries, not only with China, but all these Muslim countries, and how Saudi Arabia supported Pakistan. So because Pakistan being the Muslim country actually won this war. So all the Muslim countries are very happy because finally there is a Muslim country that has all the capabilities and capacity to win a war actually. So it's actually Pakistan actually gave this backup support to all the Muslim world. So in Muslim in all the Muslim countries in the South Asia region, so Pakistan has actually proved the fact that not only we have the strategic location and position, good friendly ties with China, because this is against the national foreign policy, national interest of India. The Indians can never want Pakistan and China to come on one page actually. So they themselves provided this golden opportunity, and now what Indians are saying, what Indians analysts are saying, that it's easy to it might be easy to fight with China but not with Pakistan at all, because Pakistanis have this strong manpower. They might be using this Chinese technology, but the civilians, the armed forces, you know, many countries are actually approaching Pakistan Air Force for the training purpose. Probably 30 to 31 countries are actually approaching Pakistan for Pakistan Air Force for the training. So we should consider it as a golden opportunity because we have limited resources. So within our available resources, we should provide the trainings to different Air Force, and we should actually, it's a golden chance not on diplomatic stance but economically as well. So we can get the dollars, big bucks from the different countries, and we should train their Pakistan Air Force should train them, and we should avail this opportunity economically. And on diplomatic ground, I always say Pakistan need to develop the strong diplomacy. In diplomatic ground, we should use the good use of soft power. So India is very quick in using this Bollywood stance. So our DGSPR has also said that India should get out of this Bollywood craze and fabricated star-plus like stories of Operation Sindoor and all that stuff. So Pakistan should also develop this strong diplomatic stance on educational diplomacy, cultural diplomacy, sports diplomacy. So on diplomatic stance, we have now all the material to sell against India. So India is always is quite good in using fabricated and negative propaganda and stories against Pakistan, but they don't have that product, and we have all the product and proofs against India, but we just need a strong diplomatic stance, this marketing strategy to sell our byproduct against India, because we have everything. We don't need to have this fabricated stories, because in real we have all the real on ground proofs,
and we have the dossier that we have now prepared to give to the world and to everybody.
Offering India to have this neutral third party alliance, and is actually Pakistan is actually providing the opportunity to have this investigation with the presence of this third neutral party. But why India is being reluctant? Why India is not actually? Because
it wants to shirk away from the reality, from the facts of the entire false flag operation. General Saab, with counterterrorism cooperation on the agenda between Pakistan, Afghanistan and China in this trilateral summit, what specific measures in your point of view should Pakistan advocate for to ensure lasting stability in the region and in our country, and prevent the resurgence of militant groups in the region?
Thank you very much, Omar, for this question. To be very honest, this is the biggest concern, and this is an international concern as well. The regional concern, Pakistan has many concerns, but it's a regional concern, and it's an international concern as well, because this Afghanistan is becoming again a hotbed for the terrorism, and all the franchises are available here. It's a kind of a market, and with, that too with $7 billion weaponry, which United States deliberately, or they have not done it deliberately, that has yet to be seen. But Mr. President Trump has already declared that this was the worst withdrawal, and Biden is responsible for this, and he's taking that responsibility, that this is the American failure. So having said that, now as far as China and Pakistan is concerned, Pakistan, we are very clear what kind of threat we are facing. You know, unfortunately, this caretaker setup and few leaders within that caretaker setup, and with this TTP, they have become the top clients of proxy sponsor, that is India, along with BLA, BRF in Balochistan. And in China is also facing a terrorism threat. One, by that is coming from their collaboration with Pakistan, whatever happened with the Chinese engineers in Karachi, whatever is happening on the Chinese projects in the CPEC. So Pakistan plus Chinese association and collaboration, cooperation in this CPEC, that is also the target. And other than that, the ETM, you know, those are directly threatening the Chinese, and they will be used by this bruised India against China as well. Because you have already spoken in the previous you know, segment, you are talking about the Azerbaijan and Turkey,
and
you
the
include
boycott.
Bangladesh also, include Maldives also. So there is a lot of rhetoric and a lot of I mean bad things coming from India against these countries. They are not speaking about China, which was the major ally of Pakistan. So they are always very fond of threatening the little, I mean less powerful countries. So this is their attitude. So Pakistan and China has a serious concern. Look, other than this, in SCO, we have a RATS organization which deals with the terrorism. All right, India is also part of that. These regional countries are also part of that organization. The only scuttler to address this issue of terrorism in those agendas, in those programs and plans of RATS is India. I myself was part of this organization. I have had an opportunity to attend some meetings, and they're the only scuttlers. So it means that they're not interested to talk about the terrorism as a whole. Why? Because that is now their lead instrument of policy. So you can't be part of the plan which is, you know, targeting your own friends. Ahsanullah Ahsan is today writing an article in English newspaper who cannot speak English. So he's now their
look at the irony.
Irony. So this is what is happening. This is their lead instrument. So, but Pakistan and China has to collaborate. They have to. This is compulsion on both the countries now. And Afghanistan has to understand, if they want to link with the BRI, the Road Belt Initiative, if they want to link their people with the progress and prosperity, the route is through Pakistan and China, not from India. They're independent country. They can have very good relations with India, but they should not have these relations at the cost of Pakistan and China. So basically, the biggest enemy of people of Afghanistan is unfortunately their interim setup and characters like this Ahsanullah Ahsan and TTPs who are hiding. So I would urge the people of Afghanistan to, you know, rise up to the occasion. Yes, if you want to really see your women's freedom, if you want to see your girls studying, if you want to see progress, or if they have decided to live in the caves for all their life, then it is their bad luck. Well, so they have to associate themselves with Pakistan and China, because the route to progress, as I have already said,
is where it lies.
Pakistan.
That is where it lies. All right, Ambassador Asif Durrani Sahab joins us again. Asif Sahab, my next question has parts, and both parts are extremely important. Given the ongoing tensions between Pakistan and India, how might the trilateral dialogue between Pakistan, Afghanistan and China influence the broader security landscape in South Asia? What role, in your point of view, could China play as a stabilizing force in the region? That is the first part of my question. My second part concerns US President Donald Trump. He has suggested talks between Pakistan and India on a third country venue. What should be Pakistan's diplomatic strategy to ensure that these negotiations are carried on equal terms and address core issues such as that of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir? Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, Khalid, I lost the connection. With regard to the trilateral mechanism between Pakistan, Afghanistan and China, it is not something new. Its first foreign minister level meeting was held in May 2023, and in which a joint statement was agreed to, in which Afghan foreign minister very clearly stated by name that Afghanistan would take measures to control the TTP. That's besides the point that they could not control it, and the TTP activities continued unabated. Secondly, China is also concerned about the Uyghur terrorists, which are taking shelter in Afghanistan, and that is their concern. So Chinese approach is that with patience and perseverance, we can counsel Afghanistan to be part of the region, and that is only possible if Afghanistan takes measures that can stabilize the situation inside Afghanistan and also do not pose a threat to the neighborhood and the region as a whole. There are signs that Afghan Taliban and interim setup, they have taken some steps, but I think there are also some capacity problems. And then there is also a need for greater cooperation. Right now, the Taliban have been reluctant as far as international cooperation is concerned to neutralize the terrorists, various shades of terrorists. There are over 2 dozen terrorist groups operating in Afghanistan. So this is one aspect. Secondly, with regard to President Trump's the news which came about the neutral venue where this discussion is to take place and the agenda. So that can be any place. I can't hazard any guess on that because that would be decided with mutual consent of the parties. And secondly, as far as the agenda is concerned, of course, India has explained its agenda points. That is one, terrorism, and secondly, Azad Kashmir. But I don't think that it would be only one-sided agenda. Otherwise, then there will be no talks. So Pakistan will definitely have its own agenda items, especially the Kashmir disputes, Indian water treaty. These are the immediate concerns. But at the same time, I think Pakistan should re-emphasize the resumption of composite dialogue, which was left in 2008 onward. So this is something after the Bombay incident. So issues are very much there. It is not that something we will be inventing something new, or for that matter, the issues would be new or those would be reframed. Those are very much Indian institutional memory is also very sharp, and so is Pakistan. So issues are on the table. But what is needed is the political will to discuss them. And that political will is lacking on the part of India. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Ambassador Asif Durrani Saab, to have joined us. And we're a bit short of time, so I'll have to thank both of my guests in the studios as well, Major General Zahid Mahmood Saab, to have joined us. It's always so reassuring when you are here in the studios. And of Dr. Sundas Mustaqim to have joined us in the studio as well. We hope to see more of you in the coming days as well. This brings us to the end of today's newsroom. We'll see you inshallah tomorrow with new story segments that pertain to us, you and Pakistan. Stay safe and continue to strengthen Pakistan with every passing day and every passing comment. Allah Hafiz.